Hello everyone. In this video, we will study about ecological restoration. Ecological restoration is the process of assisting the recovery of an ecosystem that has been degraded, damaged, or destroyed. Ecosystems are dynamic communities of plants, animals, and microorganisms interacting with their physical environment as a functional unit. These communities can be damaged, degraded, or destroyed by human activity. Damage refers to an acute and obvious harmful impact upon an ecosystem, such as selective logging, road building, poaching, or invasions of non native species. Degradation refers to chronic human impacts resulting in the loss of biodiversity and the disruption of an ecosystem's structure, composition, and functionality. For example, long term grazing impacts, long term overfishing or hunting pressure, and persistent invasions by non native species. Destruction is the most severe level of impact when degradation or damage removes all macroscopic life and commonly ruins the physical environment. Ecosystems are destroyed by such activities as land clearing, urbanization, coastal erosion, and mining. Ecological restoration seeks to initiate or accelerate ecosystem recovery following damage, degradation, or destruction. Ecological restoration practitioners do not carry out the actual work of ecosystem recovery. Rather, they create the conditions needed for recovery so the plants, animals, and microorganisms can carry out the work of recovery themselves. Assisting recovery can be as simple as removing an invasive species or reintroducing a lost species or a lost function like fire, or as complex as altering landforms, planting vegetation, changing the hydrology, and reintroducing wildlife. The ecosystem may not necessarily recover to its former state since contemporary ecological realities, including global climate change, may cause it to develop along an altered trajectory, just as these same realities may have changed the trajectory of nearby undisturbed ecosystems. History plays an important role in restoration, but contemporary conditions must also be taken into consideration. Restoration ecology is the scientific study supporting the practice of ecological restoration, which is the practice of renewing and restoring which is the practice of renewing and restoring degraded, damaged, or destroyed ecosystems and habitats in the environment by active intervention and action. Effective restoration requires an explicit goal or policy, preferably an unambiguous one that is articulated, accepted, and codified. Restoration goals reflect societal choices from among competing policy priorities, but extracting such goals is typically contentious and politically changing. Restoration ecology draws on a wide range of ecological concepts. Let us see the concepts one by one. First one is the disturbance. Disturbance events can occur at many scales and different levels of severity, and some are natural parts of every ecosystem. Disturbance events can alter species composition, nutrient cycling, and soil properties. Natural disturbances include severe weather damage, fire, flooding, tree falls, and even volcanic eruptions. Anthropogenic disturbances can alter or destroy natural habitat like clearing land for agriculture, and ecological functions like damming rivers for flood control. Anthropogenic disturbances means the events caused by humans. Humans can also change natural disturbance events and cycles like suppression of wildfires and prevention of periodic flooding. The goal of a restoration project may be to initiate or speed the recovery of an ecosystem after disturbance. Restoration activities may also be designed to re-establish natural disturbance regimes. Now let us see the genetics. Restoration projects also typically include genetic considerations. Plants or animals from local sources are more likely to be well adapted to the target ecosystem. Therefore, using animals or plant materials like seeds or cuttings collected from local sources may increase the chance of successful establishment. Including a large number of individual plants or animals can help ensure genetic diversity in the restored populations. Genetic diversity is thought to be critical to maintaining the ability of pollutions to evolve and recover from disturbances. Now, let us see what is succession. Ecological succession is the process by which biological community composition, the number and proportion of different species in an ecosystem, recover over time following a disturbance event. Passive restoration means simply allowing natural succession to occur in an ecosystem after removing a source of disturbance. The recovery of the deciduous forests in the eastern United States after the abandonment of agriculture is a classic example of passive restoration. Active restoration involves accelerating the process or attempting to change the trajectory of succession. For example, mine tailings would take so long to recover passively that active restoration is usually appropriate. Now let us see what community assembly theory says. This theory suggests that similar sites can develop different biological communities depending on order of arrival of different species. In the context of restoration, sites may not always recover towards a desired or anticipated group of species or ecosystem functions. Composition of seed mixes, planting order, and year of planting may be important considerations for restoration practitioners, particularly when goals include the establishment of certain ecological communities or the prevention of invasion by weeds or pests. Now let us see landscape ecology. Restoration draws on several concepts from landscape ecology. Restored areas are often relatively small and isolated, which makes them especially sensitive to problems associated with habitat fragmentation. Habitat fragmentation occurs when continuous areas of habitat become disconnected by natural or human causes. For example, building roads through a forest. Fragmentation generally leads to small, isolated patches of hospitable habitat. Smaller habitats support fewer species and smaller populations, which are at greater risk of inbreeding and local extinction. Applied restoration is a multi step process which may include some or all of the below said stages. They include assessing the site. A thorough appraisal of the current conditions at the restoration site is essential. The restoration site is essential for determining what kind of actions will be necessary. In this step, the causes of ecosystem disturbance and methods for stopping or reversing them are identified. Next is the formulating project goals. To determine targets for the restored community, practitioners may visit reference sites, similar nearby environments in natural condition, and consult historical sources that detail the pre-disturbance community. Goals may also include considerations of what species will be best suited to present for or future climate conditions. Next is the removing sources of disturbance. Before restoration can be successful, forces of disturbance may need to be removed. Examples include cessation of mining or farming or causes of erosion, restricting livestock from riparian areas, removing toxic materials from soil or sediments, and eradicating invasive exotic species. Next is the restoring processes or disturbance cycles. Sometimes restoring important ecological processes such as natural flood or fire regimes is enough to restore ecosystem integrity. In these cases, native plants and animals that have evolved to tolerate or require natural disturbance regimes may come back on their own without direct action by practitioners. Next is the rehabilitating substrates. This can include any activity aimed at repairing altered soil texture or chemistry or restoring hydrological regimes or water quality. The next one is the restoring vegetation. In many cases, restoration activities involve direct revegetation of a site. Usually, native species suited to local environmental conditions are chosen for planting. Seeds or cuttings are generally collected from a variety of sources within a local region in order to ensure genetic diversity. Vegetation can be planted as seeds or seedlings. Next one is the monitoring and maintenance. Monitoring the restoration site over time is critical to determining whether goals are being met and can inform future management decisions. Observations made at the site may indicate that further action, such as periodic weed removal, is necessary in ensuring the long term success of the project. Ideally, restoration projects would eventually achieve a self sustaining ecosystem without the need for future human intervention. Restoration is not a substitute for conservation. While we can successfully restore biodiversity, structure, and function to a degraded ecosystem, ecological restoration is not a substitute for conservation, nor should the promise of restoration be used to justify destruction or unsustainable use. In reality, restoration may not succeed in re establishing the full assemblage of native species or the full extent of the original ecosystem's structure and function. This was about restoration process. Thank you.